Carson, thank you for coming on the show. Glad to have you on. It's strangely enough, it's actually our first solar discussion. We've discussed so many different elements of industry. This is our first solar one. So thanks for coming on to talk about your product and why you developed it and where it's going.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with where SolarSet came from and the design, because of course Power Zone is very much in the fluid handling side. We featured Power Zone a couple times on the show. We've promoted them on multiple episodes. So where did SolarSet, where did that angle come from?
Yeah, so I've been interested in solar for years, 6, 8 years, and always wondered how we can get into it. And during this last energy downturn, there was not enough pump work to do. So I started thinking of how ways we can integrate our solar products in the same way as we do our pump products. And that is packaging in our shop, basically factory built solar systems is what I was targeting. And I floated the idea to my brother and my father, who are in business with me, and they liked the idea this time, and we did it. That's where it started. It started about a year ago, um, and we've been building prepackaged solar systems.
Was it a easy transition, because with Power Zone, and I've been to your facility, you have a great facility already set up. So from a production standpoint, was it a fairly easy pivot to go from, because I know you're putting together pump packages with engines and customization and all that sort of stuff. Was it the transition easy enough?
Yeah, it's okay. The thing is, with pumps, they're very high tech. Lot of engineering. They're custom built, and that's how we're programmed. The more complex the unit is, really the better. And so when we talk about solar, it's a totally different challenge. They're not very well. The off-grid units are sort of technical, but the solar is not a high tech, thing. It's just panels and some inverters and some electronics. So our challenge here is production manufacturing, which is a little bit new to us. Everything we've done up till now has been, custom, really high tech stuff, and now we're trying to tackle a different challenge of lots of manufacturing instead of just
Mm.
one or two higher
So more,
end
so
things.
more the efficiency side of the production when you're duplicating the product over and over. Um, what is on the market right now, just so that I kind of myself and the viewers understand sort of what gap that you're filling? So where's sort of the standard solar offering, and then where is SolarSet coming into the picture?
Right. So a normal ground mount system, and really ground mount is where we're focused. Normal ground mount system, you'd have a contractor go out there onto site, and he'd put in concrete pilings and build a frame up from those concrete pilings, and then set his solar system on it. And he'd be on site for a week or so setting this up, and the system stays there. It's a permanent structure. Then on the other side, you have trailer mounted ones, just for, you could rent it for a fair or a concert or something. You can rent it and they're trailer mounted. Where solar set is coming in is kind of in between those. There's a gap where we're trying to fill. We want to build prepackaged solar systems in our shop and move them out. They're really designed to be permanent structures, but if you're renting a house and you want to rent a different one and take your solar system with you, then you can do that. If you sell your house and the new buyer doesn't want it, you can take it with you.
Mm.
It's set up to just be these modular, expandable type systems.
It must
They
be
ship on a trailer, and they're all assembled when they get there.
right, and it must be nice too, because some, I mean, now there some people are putting them on roofs and things like that, but a lot of people that they've already designed their house as a certain look and everything like that. So this sort of fills that gap as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does Do these units I've seen a lot online of the units that track the sun and that, and I don't know much about solar, so I don't know if that's an efficient system. These units, because they're stationary, and I saw that they kinda come, we'll be showing pictures throughout this interview. Um, do these units track the sun?
No, they don't. So the sun trackers are still used in industrial, like when you have like several acres under panels or even 100 acres under panels, you'll use the trackers. But in residential solar, it doesn't really make sense anymore. It's way more economical to just add 2 or 3 panels than it is to make the panels you have track, because the panels are anymore, they're not the expensive part. The expensive part is installing, and those
Mm,
trackers, they take maintenance. There are some cases where if you're in like a canyon and you only get 2 hours of sunlight a day, you're going to want a tracker. But in 99% of the cases, trackers don't make sense for small installations like this anymore.
I just have a I wanna get into some of the units in that, Carson, but just a very layman question here. Those I see the steel, frames that they're it's mounted on. Do you need to put concrete in and do that sort of stuff to make them stationary, like, like wind and all this sort of stuff? Like, how are these being tied down?
No, you don't need concrete. None of our customers have put concrete in first. They just put them on the gravel lot or the dirt lot, and then we have do our wind load calculations, and we design the anchors, the earth anchors to go in. They're usually installed with like a electric impact or something, and you need several of them. If you have like a skid steer or something, you can put in a big anchor, then you need less of them. But we can do it. Really, our preferred way is just to do it right on the ground, no concrete.
Right, okay, that's probably good to know, just an extra layer that you don't have to handle. Let's go. I want to again for me. I mean, there's people watching that are going to be much more educated in it, but even the grid tie to the off-grid system, I kind of want to have an understanding of that, and then tie that in with the models because you do have different models out there. So could you just kind of outline the models, and then in that, if you could sort of explain the differences, because I think one has to be bigger if it's off-grid, or maybe the reverse. Can you just kind of unpack that a little bit for us?
Right. So let's start with the grid tie as just a very simple system. It's just panels and then an inverter that changes that electricity from DC to AC and puts it into the power grid. And that's if someone is already hooked up to utility power and they want solar to offset their meter, basically pay less
Mm,
and and generate their own power. Those systems are very easy. They take no batteries. Basically, the grid is your battery. When the sun goes down, you use grid power. When the sun goes up, then your system puts it. Like I have a grid tie system at my place, and it just every March they settle up with me. You know, if I used more than I made, then I owe them money, and if I made more than I used, then they owe me a little bit of money. So that's grid tie, very simple. Off grid is where you have no utility. There's no backup. You need to supply all the power yourself from your own solar system, and that's where we use lithium ion batteries in our systems to where they're maintenance free, and that's an off grid system. They're all packaged, and that's your grid basically. If you need backup from there, then you need a backup generator, which we
mm.
put on underneath these things as well.
Oh, okay. So it's designed into the unit then.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the difference between grid tie and off grid. The reason off grid is usually larger, they're more expensive because there's those batteries in there, but they're also larger because you're sizing it off of your worst month.
Mm,
A grid tie, you're sizing it off of your average month, and in most homes, there's a big difference there. So
right.
that's the difference between a grid tie is sized off your average month, and an off grid is sized off your worst case month.
So when it
And
comes to the models then, is the size, does it just essentially get length? Is that what we're talking about here? It's not like the Are you building a wider panel, putting that design together, or sort of how are you approaching it, when you need to upsize?
Yeah, the panels are all identical on both off-grid and grid tie, and from big to small. There's just the smallest one we make is actually a 4 panel. It's not on our website because they're not very economical till you get to the 8 and 12 panel ones. But
Okay.
the smallest one is 4 panels, and the biggest one is whatever 60 panels, and you just add panels. So
You said about that for the off-grid, the lithium ions are efficient, but are you using the same type of panels for both the off-grid
yeah,
and the grid tie?
yeah.
Yeah. So is that standard how they're made, now? I'm sorry that I'm just not a solar expert. So is it sort of a standard now that they're manufactured as?
The panels, you mean?
The panels themselves, yeah.
There's standard sizes that they try to go with, but the wattages of these things are all over the map. Anywhere from like a really small panel you can buy for, they're 200 watts, and then a really big one, an oversized one, is 500 watts. We're using 445 watt ones, so they're pretty big. But the panels are not standardized really. They're
Okay.
we've standardized with a panel in our product, but in the general solar industry, there's really not a standard panel.
You mentioned with the sun tracking systems, it takes a lot of maintenance, which is why if you're using it for commercial use, it makes sense. You've got maintenance people on staff and things like that. Um, is there any type of maintenance that is required? Obviously, if there's a generator, there's that type of thing. But for the units themselves, let's start with the grid tied ones. Is there any sort of maintenance that is required?
No, you like depending on where you live, if you get snow and your panels aren't steep enough, then you might need to go out there and shovel the snow off. But I never do with my system. I just wait a few hours in the sun. The snow sloughs off, so they don't take maintenance. The grid ties don't take any maintenance.
Well, you mentioned yours, a couple times, and I wanna talk about environment because, I remember when, I think Elon Musk came out with the shingled ones,
Yeah.
and that was a big hype, of course, it was all across the news and everything like that. And of course, it was exciting, but then as you start to look in, you go, ah, that wouldn't work for this place, it wouldn't work for that place, and all that sort of thing. So I think what would be good is to understand why it works in your area. And then if you could, I mean, of course, you won't be able to touch on every place, but just sort of expand as to what are good locations. But let's start. You're based in Colorado. So why is that a good location?
Yeah, Colorado's great because you need sun, obviously. Um, you can't have like really cloudy weather all the time. Here we get about 360 days of sun, so that helps. But more than that, solar panels perform more efficiently in cold weather. So if you can have lots of sun and cold weather and cool temperatures, you're better off. The other thing is in this specific location is a little bit unique, and that is that we're at 7,600 feet above sea level. So our atmosphere is thin and our sun is more intense.
Mm.
Now, a lot of places don't have that, but you don't really need it. You just need the first one is basically the main one. You need lots of sun, but then cool temperatures is better, really.
I didn't realize that about the cool temperatures. Why is that?
Oh, it has to do with the semiconductor cell in a solar panel. When the heat goes up, it just kind of it's not as efficient.
I see. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So what other environments would your units be good? I mean, obviously you're not going to cover all 50 states and Canada. I mean, I want to get into something but I want to get into some of the fold unit that you're making now. I want to talk about that. But just what are some other areas that like you have I already identified that would be good systems or good environments for it?
Yeah. So anywhere in the southwest is obviously great. There's even places that are quite a bit better than here. Um, they get another hour of they get another sun hour than we do, which is sun hour is not just an hour of sun, but it's a measurement. But then even over into North Carolina, it's good there. Florida is fine. Hawaii is really good, and Africa has great places. Middle East, there's just a lot of places in this world where solar is great, and I've seen solar in Canada and where the sun, the summer months are probably really good. The winter months probably aren't,
Right.
but they're making it work. So
Yeah.
I've got inquiries from Missouri and Ohio, and it pencils out there. You need a little bigger system, but it works there too. So
And can your team help out with that? I mean, if someone like me has a unit, people that are building their houses and stuff, is your team able to assist and be able to tell them if it's economical or if it is a good investment for where they're located?
yeah, this solar sizing is not. It's not just all a guesstimate. It's pretty accurate, really, when you know how to do it. You can estimate what it's going to be, and if you have just a little bit of data, you can get really close to what the payoff is going to be.
So you've mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned some of the overseas, but even across state lines, we had a guest on that they were helping. They have these different units that they ship all over the U.S. and there were all these it was in the crane sector. So there's a lot of hoops sometimes to jump through because of the different shipping requirements and regulations and all that sort of thing. So you've designed something called the SolarSet Fold, and that's in a way it's sort of a game changer because it does open you up to even global markets. Can you talk a little bit about that design and the demand for it?
Yeah. So, um, it was a few months ago. I got an inquiry from Oman in the Middle East, and this lady wanted a solar system there, an off-grid one, and my system was perfect,
Mm,
except that it all needed to be completely disassembled and stuffed in a shipping container, and then I really have no edge. So that got me to thinking we need to just make a system that fits in a shipping container, but we need our power density, like we need to be able to fit a lot of panels in there. So
right.
basically took the design that we had and made it fold and slide in a shipping container. And now I feel like if we would get that inquiry again, we could be offering a very good solution. I mean, this is American made, high quality factory built stuff, and it can go anywhere in the world, and you flip a switch on and have power.
Right.
We also were getting, at the same time, we're getting inquiries from all over the US, and with our rigid model, it's just hard. They're 11 and a half feet wide. They work great for just local stuff here. But in the end, if you're going to go more than about 300 miles away, you're probably going to want to, just get the fold. It's a few $100s more, and you can skip all the shipping permits and everything.
A few $100. So this isn't thousands of dollars more for this unit.
I think we're gonna. I don't have the pricing on the fold totally nailed down yet.
Right.
We've built a fold and it's gonna work, but we haven't built a whole bunch of them yet,
Right.
and so we're still running through the pricing models on that. But it won't be way more. It'll be within less than $1,000 more likely.
So on an off-grid system with the fold, are you going to be you're able to fold it down, put it in a C can? Are you going to be able to put your generator in? Is it going to be one contained unit? I mean, of course, obviously, if it's a certain length, you're going to need multiple containers. But short of that, are you going to be able to compact everything into that one container?
Yeah, they're not dense. They're very airy. So
Right.
you can fit a lot of stuff under the panels, and you can ship a lot of stuff in there, you know.
And what is coming with it? Just so you have a complete picture. Let's go with either one of the units. When you're getting it, let's say you're shipping it overseas, and what is coming in the package? Let's go with an off-grid system because it'll have the generator and everything like that.
So you slide this thing out of the shipping container. It has a cabinet. It's an insulated and temperature controlled cabinet where your electronics and your batteries are. And that's housed underneath the panels. It can also have a generator that is already electrically connected to the cabinet. And then, of course, it has the panels and the framing. And you take it out of the shipping container and you crank it. We send a little hand crank that cranks and unfolds it, and at that point it needs to be anchored and used. So nothing electrically, there's nothing you need to do with this. It's just connect your load up to the outlet of this thing, and it gives you power. So anchoring is the challenge here. It takes every site in the world is different, and it takes a little bit of thinking, you know, what soil type what anchors do we send? Do they need to be 3 feet long or 4 feet long or
Right.
whatever? How many of them? But short of anchoring this thing, you just literally unfold it and plug it in. So
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So you've got one already built, and now you're transitioning into the production stage. You've already have multiple units of the, I think you call it the rigid model. You've already got those up. They're already in operation. Is that right? Yeah. But then the fold. So if somebody, just as we tie it up, I know you're you've got lots on the go right now, so I don't want to keep you too long. But right now, if somebody wants to order them, what's sort of the lead time on these units?
right now we're running behind a little bit. We're probably at 6 weeks.
Okay.
But our goal is to get that down to where, if you need one in 3 weeks, that's generally going to be very possible.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a gentleman coming on the show here in a little while, we're doing a Six Sigma efficiency manufacturing talk. So I'll make sure to send you that link. Maybe there's a couple secrets in there for you. Okay. Carson, thanks for coming on the show. Again, I'm not going to keep you for too long. I wanted to cover it. We kind of fit you in amongst all the other episodes. Of course, now that I'm saying that, Gowdy, I realize now other people are gonna be like, "Well, can you fit me in?" So no, we're busy. But no, I'm thanks for just jumping in on doing this quite short notice because I wanted to cover it, and I wanted to get some solar talk on the energy show. We haven't covered it. So I appreciate it, Carson, and hope you come back at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did you order one while we were talking, Gowdy?
No, but I do want to. They look super cool.
Well, we were talking, I was actually chatting with Carson a little bit yesterday. We were saying like people that are building like log homes and things like
Mhm.
that. Um, it's just perfect because there's a little bit of an investment that it
Yeah.
comes to get these kind of units. So people that are building some of these beautiful places, it'd be a pretty good fit. Um, anyway, Gowdy, where could people go to follow, like, share, comment, or become a guest?
Well, first off, definitely go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got 2 episodes a week on there and moving up to 3 sometime this year.
Next week.
Oh, that's
Kidding.
something I didn't know.
Kidding.
um, and of course, like always, follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. And if you want to be a guest on the show or you want to recommend someone to be a guest on the show, contact us info@crownsman.com.
And
Yeah,
go to solarset.com for solar panels.
I want
Amazing,
to I want to get some. Although I don't
amazing products.
I wouldn't know where to put them, but
We'll find somewhere. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. We love doing the show. I'm glad we finally got some solar talk on. And if you know someone in the solar industry, please let us know. We'd love to have them on. We will talk to you soon and see you on the next episode of Crownsman Energy.